Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SPOTFIRE Respiratory Sore Throat, or RST, solution. My name is Spencer Hunt, and I'll be your host today. My goal will be to familiarize you with the SPOTFIRE RST system and panels through expert interviews, a product demo, and an in-depth discussion of the common challenges that you may experience in your practice. So, what is SPOTFIRE? Last year, we launched the revolutionary BIOFIRE SPOTFIRE system, bringing the speed and accuracy of rapid PCR testing to the point of care. The SPOTFIRE RST solution is an updated offering that adds a unique flexibility to point of care respiratory testing. Clinicians can now choose between panels that detect either 5 or 15 targets. Both panels are equipped with 2 menus, respiratory or sore throat, which are selected based on the patient's signs and symptoms, delivering comprehensive results in about 15 minutes. But before we dive into these more exciting details, we have a very special guest with us today. Please join me in welcoming Colin Hill, General Manager and Head of Clinical Operations in North America, who will share with us his insights on bioMérieux's spirit of innovation and entry into the point of care space. Thanks for joining me, Colin. A few questions for you today. First off, can you speak to bioMérieux's mission and commitment to public health?
Yeah, every mission starts with a purpose, and our purpose is to help make the world a healthier place. And we do that through a combination of core products, core innovation, and core reinvestment in the business. That focus is specifically around infectious diseases. Infectious diseases globally remain the largest single challenge we face. And by focusing there, with all of the company's resources, we are able to innovate and drive changes in how public health is delivered.
It's great that you brought up innovation. We know that that's a key cornerstone at bioMérieux. And with SPOTFIRE, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on where we're going in the point of care and why we're choosing that segment now.
Yeah, so if we start from the innovation comment, innovation takes a number of different forms. It can be the technology you use. It can be the targets you go after. It can be the workflows you create. And within the workflows you create can be where you do testing. And as we think about addressing public health today, I think everybody is aware of the pressures on hospitals, emergency rooms, and those environments on a daily basis. And a lot of it is because people don't always believe they can get the care they need in the setting where it would be best delivered, so primary care or urgent care. SPOTFIRE starts to address that by taking a lab-level quality technology, simplifying the workflows down to being CLIA-waived, which means anybody can use it, and putting that into the point of care and point of patient environments. So going to the patients where they need to be treated. That's the core. And from an innovation perspective, innovating workflows is every bit as important as innovating technologies. SPOTFIRE answers it on the technology front, because it brings lab quality technology. It answers it on the target front. It can do large panel and small panel. And last but not least, it answers it on the basis of let's treat the patients where the patients are in a timely manner.
Thank you. Fantastic answer. My next question for you is, how do you feel that SPOTFIRE is changing the face of respiratory diagnostics, and how does that tie back to our mission at bioMérieux to serve public health?
Yeah, as I think about SPOTFIRE, I think about how in medicine the goal is triage. How do we treat the most patients before they become critical, which means getting them early in the right place before whatever it is they have advances to a pathological stage that requires more costly and more complex intervention. The reality is that SPOTFIRE, by moving it back to the point of care, that point of patient environment, allows us to catch patients early in mild to light symptomatic situations, make therapy decisions, which could include escalating them to a hospital environment or could include sending them home with the right therapy in hand. That's a major shift in taking a very large proportion of the number of patients that have respiratory illness and not putting them into the hospital system, but actually sending them home, taken care of, diagnosed, and confident that their health has been managed.
Great. One last question for you. I'd like to zoom out from just bioMérieux and think about the market at large here. What is it that SPOTFIRE delivers that is so unique that we haven't seen to this point?
Okay, I think it's three things. It's pure lab quality. We took the same technology we use in our torch technology and deployed it in SPOTFIRE. So the quality of results, the clinical quality you're getting is unique. The workflow. The workflow has been designed to fit the environment in which it will be used. It is clear waved with incredible simplicity of use and all the safeguards you need to ensure consistency of result. And those two things together have been put into a scalable system that allows it to be economically viable as well across multiple different, more remote settings within the healthcare environment.
Great insights. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, let's dive into the SPOTFIRE RST solution. We're eager to show you what makes this solution tick, how it can help you tackle everyday challenges, and how it has the potential to positively impact patient care. Let's start with the challenges. We all have them, but it will be our job today to not only address these challenges, but also show you how the SPOTFIRE system and panels may be your ultimate solution. The first challenge most of us face is variability in signs and symptoms. Respiratory conditions often present with similar or overlapping signs and symptoms, making it challenging to pinpoint specific respiratory issues. For example, patients experiencing respiratory illness oftentimes present with a fever, headache, sore throat, and congestion, but these symptoms are consistent with both RSV and strep throat. Without the right diagnostic test, your guess is as good as ours. The second most common challenge is diagnostic accuracy, or the lack thereof. Accuracy is a crucial component in confidently identifying the pathogen or pathogens responsible for an infection. Unfortunately, not all diagnostic tools are created equal in this regard. Depending on the specificity and sensitivity of the assays used, you may be left wondering if the results truly reflect what the patient does or does not have. The third challenge is prolonged time to result. Delays in obtaining respiratory test results may impede timely diagnosis, appropriate treatment, and overall patient care. Without immediate answers, patients may insist on antimicrobials even when they're unnecessary. And finally, there is the high cost of misdiagnosis. Misdiagnosis is a serious risk that can lead to poor patient care. This may translate into repeat visits and additional testing, which not only jeopardizes the patient's health by delaying appropriate treatment, potentially damage the clinic's reputation, and diminish patient satisfaction. These challenges are significant, I'll admit, but they are not unsolvable. The SPOTFIRE system is the culmination of what we at bioMérieux know and do best, including PCR-powered syndromic testing and that delivers fast and accurate results. Let's begin by exploring syndromic testing a bit further. As I've mentioned earlier, respiratory patients oftentimes present with overlapping signs and symptoms that makes diagnosis difficult based on presentation alone. Syndromic testing aims to tackle this challenge by targeting a broad, symptom-driven grouping of probable pathogens into one rapid test, maximizing the chance of getting the right answer in a clinically relevant timeframe. In other words, you collect just one patient sample for a comprehensive analysis that quickly identifies multiple potential pathogens, informing timely treatment decisions. Powered by highly sensitive and specific PCR technology, the SPOTFIRE RST panels offer reliable results clinicians can trust. What's more, the panels offer unique flexibility in testing, allowing clinicians to choose either the respiratory or sore throat panel, depending on the patient's symptoms. Each menu has up to 15 pathogen targets associated with respective syndrome. The RST Panel Mini expands on the flexibility by offering condensed, more targeted testing menu of 5 pathogens each. By simultaneously testing for a comprehensive group of pathogens associated with a specific syndrome, we deliver answers in as little as 15 minutes. This enables patients to receive diagnosis and treatment plans during their clinic visit, reducing the need for callbacks and ensuring that they leave with the right treatment plan and guidance from their healthcare provider. Additionally, Receiving accurate, comprehensive results in a clinically actionable timeframe can reduce the need for a follow-up visit and additional testing. Now that we've explored how the SPOTFIRE RST solution addresses common industry challenges, let's hear from a first-hand account. We're excited to share the story of pediatrician Dr. Daniel Bruckner, who will discuss how the SPOTFIRE solution transformed diagnostics, antimicrobial prescribing, and overall care at his practice.
So my name is Daniel Bruckner. I'm a private practice pediatrician here in Encino, California. We're in a practice with 10 doctors, so it's a big practice. We have been using BIOFIRE products in general for over 5 years now, and I was lucky enough to be involved with the BIOFIRE SPOTFIRE right when they were trialing it, when they first brought it to the Valley, and so I've been using that for over a year now, and it's really made a world of difference. I mean, to be able to get results so much faster, it's much smaller and compact, so it's decreased the amount of space that we use in our lab. I mean, getting patients the results even before they leave the office. We used to send them home and we'd call them, and this is just, it's much more neat and tidy, and the patients love it and we love it. So definitely the BIOFIRE SPOTFIRE has affected patient care in that it's decreased the amount of antibiotics we use, like hands down. There's three very important bacteria on there between Bordetella pertussis and the two walking pneumonias, chlamydia pneumonia and mycoplasma pneumonia, that if the patient does have that, they need azithromycin, they need an atypical antibiotic. And before this, we used to sometimes just assume that's what it was. If a kid was coughing for a prolonged period of time, and so kids got those antibiotics more than they needed to, because now if we have something objective showing that those are not positive, and in fact it's either just one or sometimes even two other viruses, we don't give that kid antibiotics unless they have like a focal pneumonia or something else, an ear infection, something else that we really feel like is a secondary infection that needs the antibiotics. So hands down, I mean, our antibiotic use in our office has gone way down since we bought this device. So rhinovirus is the most common virus that we see. It's definitely, there's a reason why it's called the common cold, because we see it all the time. So for me, there's many times when kids have symptoms that the parents swear it's allergies, or they think it's definitely bacterial because the snot turned green or something like that. And then when we can run the panel and it comes back rhinovirus, it just gives us a much more tangible, objective measure to work with the patient and hopefully try to avoid allergy medicine that they didn't need, antibiotics that they didn't need because they have the common cold. So knowing that it's rhinovirus definitely gives me information that helps me work with the patient. Yeah, I would definitely recommend the BIOFIRE SPOTFIRE to other clinicians. It gives a vast array of information, not just on viruses, but also bacteria. The results are quick, they're efficient, it's easy for my nurses to use. To me, there's no competition.
Hi. Welcome to our virtual demonstration of the new BIOFIRE SPOTFIRE Respiratory Sore Throat, or RST, solution. This solution is comprised of the innovative BIOFIRE SPOTFIRE RST panel, as well as the BIOFIRE SPOTFIRE RST panel mini on the revolutionary BIOFIRE SPOTFIRE system. These panels are the first CLIA-waived tests for the detection of SARS-CoV-2, flu, RSV, strep, and other common respiratory pathogens. With just one nasopharyngeal swab or throat swab, this solution delivers PCR results in about 15 minutes, meaning that you can provide actionable results during patient visits. Let's start by talking about the SPOTFIRE system. This system is small, with a footprint that's about the size of a sheet of paper, making it easy to integrate even into small clinic spaces. This system is comprised of two main components: the control station and the modules. The SPOTFIRE system is scalable and can accommodate up to 4 modules depending on your institution's needs. The modules are what run the reagents. The display screen attached to the control station is roughly the size of an iPad mini. It features a barcode scanner, for easy user login, as well as pouch and sample ID scanning. The system interface is intuitive and easy to use. The menu list at the top of the screen includes Home, Patient Results, QC, Settings, and User icons. Available modules are color-coded blue. Modules in use are color-coded green. And modules that need attention are color-coded orange. The SPOTFIRE system can easily connect to Wi-Fi and printers. It supports bidirectional LIS connectivity and is capable of connecting with major LIS vendors. The SPOTFIRE bidirectional point-of-care testing connectivity seamlessly integrates with your point-of-care data management and middleware linking, sample reports, and enabling access to data from multiple sites. Additionally, the SPOTFIRE system features state-of-the-art cybersecurity. Another great thing about the SPOTFIRE system is that it's easy to care for. The system doesn't require any general maintenance other than periodic cleaning. Now, let's talk about the SPOTFIRE RST panels. These tests use PCR technology to test for either 5 or up to 15 unique pathogen targets, delivering highly accurate results that you can trust. What's unique about these panels is that they provide the unique flexibility to select either a respiratory or a sore throat menu depending on patient presentation and sample type collected. Using either a nasopharyngeal swab or a throat swab, users will run either the respiratory or sore throat menus of the panel, respectively. Both the RST panels deliver results in about 15 minutes. Let's walk through how easy it is to prepare an RST or RST mini pouch. After collecting a nasopharyngeal or throat swab specimen and placing it in 1 to 3 milliliters of transport media, we are ready to prepare our SPOTFIRE RST panel pouches. Pouch preparation is easy and it only takes about 2 minutes. To start, let's review the materials we will need to prepare a pouch. First, we have the easy-to-use sample preparation reagent kit, otherwise known as the SPART kit. This convenient kit includes a fixed volume transfer pipette, a hydration injection vial, a sample injection vial, and lastly, a sample buffer ampule. Second, we have our pouch loading station, which will be used to hold the vials and the pouch. Let's go ahead and add the SPOTFIRE RST panel pouch, hydration vial, and sample injection vial to their respective places in the loading block according to the color-coded indicators. The first step is to hydrate the pouch. To do so, we'll unscrew the hydration solution from the cap and inject it into the pouch according to the corresponding port. The pouch is under vacuum and will automatically draw the appropriate amount of solution. Once this has been completed, it's time to add the sample. We'll start by adding the sample using the fixed volume transfer pipette. By squeezing the bulb with the pipette, the correct amount of sample is drawn without any need for precise measuring. Then, the sample is added to the sample injection vial. At this point, the sample buffer is squeezed from the ampule into the sample injection vial. The lid of the sample injection vial is closed and the vial is gently inverted 3 times to mix the sample. Then, the sample injection vial is unscrewed from its cap. Before removing the vial from its cap, it's important to wait for a few seconds to ensure that there are no drips. We then push the sample injection vial forcefully down into its corresponding port in the pouch. After the pouch draws in the correct amount of sample, both vials can be placed back into their respective caps in the loading block. Now that our pouch has been prepared, we now have to choose an available module to run the test on the SPOTFIRE display. After selecting an available module, we'll scan the QR code on the pouch as well as the sample ID. These can be entered manually if needed. Next, we select which swab type was used to collect the specimen. We'll review this information on the display to make sure that everything looks correct. The pouch is now ready to be loaded into the module. After inserting 90% of the way, the module will grab the pouch and pull it the rest of the way. At this point, the system will initialize the run. After about 15 minutes, the SPOTFIRE system will eject the pouch and deliver clear, easy-to-interpret results. Clinicians armed with the SPOTFIRE respiratory sore throat solution can confidently test, diagnose, and treat patients exhibiting signs and symptoms of respiratory tract infections, including pharyngitis. This solution can provide fast PCR results in CLIA wave settings, enabling clinicians to proceed confidently in providing appropriate and timely treatment for their patients. Feel free to follow up with your sales representative if you have additional questions. Let's shift gears now and get a medical perspective on SPOTFIRE. I'm excited to introduce Dr. Lauren Hunt, a medical advisor at bioMérieux. She'll talk about the medical benefits of the SPOTFIRE solution, explain the technology behind the product, and delve into how SPOTFIRE improves diagnostic processes and patient care. Take it away, Lauren.
The introduction of multiplex molecular diagnostics changed the way we care for patients. This technology allows us to diagnose infections faster and with greater sensitivity and specificity than ever before. But it wasn't until recently that these diagnostics were introduced into the outpatient setting, where antigen tests have been a mainstay. When patients present with upper respiratory symptoms, they're often told it's probably just a virus, or they're handed a prescription for an antimicrobial or even a steroid. Two big factors are driving this. One, significant overlap exists in symptoms of upper respiratory tract infections. And two, a paucity of fast, comprehensive diagnostics that give answers while the patient is in the office. Many times, patients are only tested for organisms such as influenza A, influenza B, COVID-19, and RSV. And that's where the diagnostic journey stops. But we now have technology available to detect so much more in the time frame of an outpatient visit. We also have data to show that at certain points throughout the year, the top organisms we're testing for, those mentioned previously, are not those circulating at the highest levels in the community or the hospital. This often leaves patients and parents without a true diagnosis. A great example of this is rhinovirus and enterovirus. While it has seasonal fluctuations, we saw in an outpatient pediatric study of upper respiratory tract infections that it was the most common positive result in children that was tested before, during, and after the pandemic. So the question becomes, why do we need syndromic rapid molecular diagnostics at the point of care? Why do we need to detect rhinovirus, parainfluenza, and bacteria like group A streptococcus? We need them for three reasons. Number one, they can improve the way that we care for our patients. Number two, this information informs antimicrobial stewardship efforts. And number three, they enhance confidence and office workflow. So, let's dive into each of these just a little bit more. The first one, syndromic multiplex PCR testing can improve patient care. If we can identify what the patient is infected with, particularly while they're still in the office, we can make better and more timely decisions. If we draw from data in the emergency room and the inpatient setting, we can look at a meta-analysis performed by Tristan Clark and colleagues. Their study evaluated the impact of rapid multiplex PCR testing and demonstrated rapid and accurate diagnosis of the underlying pathogen is critical for optimizing patient management. This includes antimicrobial selection, length of stay, and infection control measures. Our global medical affairs team here at bioMérieux has funded investigator-initiated studies to evaluate the impact of SPOTFIRE in the outpatient setting, and we look forward to seeing those results. Our second point, diagnostics inform antimicrobial stewardship. Most upper respiratory tract infections are caused by viral pathogens, yet approximately 50% of outpatient antibiotics are inappropriately prescribed in these patients. A bit of a mismatch of a pathogen and treatment, wouldn't you say? When we leverage technology like SPOTFIRE, we get increased diagnostic yield and informed decision-making. The goal of antibiotic use is not zero. Rather, the goal is the right antibiotic, the right antiviral, for the right patient at the right time at the right dose. The decision not to prescribe an antibiotic is still a very important medical decision, and we must know what the patient is infected with in order to do so confidently. And lastly, diagnostics enhance the confidence and office workflow. Let's take the example of testing a patient with pharyngitis for group A streptococcus. Many offices use antigen tests, which require reflex to culture when the result is negative or inconclusive. This may result in delayed results and therefore delayed treatment. It could also mean an additional bill for the patient, follow-up phone calls from the office, or even prescribing of unnecessary antibiotics while waiting on that result. Molecular tests have a higher sensitivity and specificity and do not require reflex to culture when the result is negative, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics guidelines. Furthermore, recall most cases of upper respiratory tract infections, which include pharyngitis, are viral. Using a syndromic panel for pharyngitis not only gives you the result in the office, it has the added benefit of testing for both group A strep and viral targets. This provides one-piece flow for the office and increases confidence for the provider, patient, and parents. Bear in mind, some patients are colonized with group A strep, and this test would still pick up on that. If you think about all other disease states, diabetes, hypertension, cancer, we expect data to drive the diagnosis. Furthermore, we would never dream of prescribing medications for these disease states without diagnostic data. So why do we have different expectations for infections in the respiratory tract? Antimicrobials are not benign. They cause adverse events such as allergic reactions and can cause the gastrointestinal infection C. difficile. I personally believe the introduction of more rapid and comprehensive diagnostics is a game changer in patient care, and I look forward to the future results of ongoing research studies.
Thank you, Lauren, for that informative presentation. Before we wrap up, I want to go over some of the most frequently asked questions about the SPOTFIRE system and the new RST panels. First question. Which care setting does the SPOTFIRE respiratory solution fit best in? This is a great question. We know that the SPOTFIRE respiratory solution is versatile and can technically integrate well into many different kinds of settings, but at bioMérieux, we recognize the unique value that it delivers to the outpatient setting, including places like urgent cares and clinic-based pediatrics. Next question. Can anyone handle the instrument if it's at a point-of-care facility? Technically, yes, as long as they are trained on how to use the instrument and properly load the reagents, anyone can use this instrument. It is that easy to use. Next question. What are the different pathogens that the SPOTFIRE can detect across its panel offerings? As we've discussed today, the SPOTFIRE RST panel can detect up to 15 unique viral and bacterial targets. The SPOTFIRE RST panel Mini can detect 5. Some of these targets include flu, RSV, SARS-CoV-2, rhinovirus and enterovirus, which causes the common cold, and many other viral and bacterial targets, which you can see on this slide, that oftentimes are cited as being the causative agent of respiratory illness. What makes the new RST panels different from the original SPOTFIRE respiratory panels? The difference comes with the flexibility to select between a respiratory or a sore throat menu, and each of these menus delivering unique information to the user. When would I use the 5 versus the 15 target panel? Great question. We oftentimes find that clinicians and their patients need different levels of information. For example, immunocompromised patients or pediatric patients may need additional insights as to what is causing their respiratory infection. However, the general population may just be fine with a 5-target test. At the end of the day, it's up to the clinician and the patient to decide. Is the SPOTFIRE respiratory sore throat solution designed to help support antimicrobial stewardship? Simply put, absolutely. The quick turnaround time coupled with the advanced insights from this solution gives the clinicians the information that they need in a clinically actionable time frame to make sure that they're appropriately prescribing antimicrobials. How do you see the SPOTFIRE RST solution interacting with the existing RP 2.1 panel on the Torch system? Are these competitive or complementary solutions? Simply put, these solutions are indeed complementary. The SPOTFIRE RST solution was specifically designed for the point of care by prioritizing things like speed, ease of use, and flexibility. The RP 2.1 panel on the Torch system delivers even more insights that can be clinically relevant to the acute setting. Additionally, users can run even more panels on the Torch system than what are available on the SPOTFIRE system at this time. That wraps up our SPOTFIRE RST solution spotlight. Today, we covered what the new SPOTFIRE respiratory sore throat solution is, how it works, what challenges it addresses, and, most importantly, how it may benefit you. I sincerely hope that these insights will help you improve patient care and satisfaction in your own practices. To delve deeper into these topics and discover how bioMérieux can support your goals, we invite you to contact our sales team for more information or to schedule a personalized demo. I want to thank our speakers for sharing their valuable expertise and insights, and thank you all for joining us today. I hope you found this spotlight informative and beneficial.